Let's go from the East Coast to the West Coast, and Tommy Lahren joins us from out west. Tommy, good morning to you.
Tommy, I'm sorry. Remember that movie?
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
That's right. So stay classy, California.
That's right, San Diego.
So, Tommy, you did a pretty tough thing. You went out to the people of California to find out what they were thinking when it came to sanctuary cities and being a sanctuary state. What was your approach?
Well, we really wanted to get a feel for what Orange County felt, because it is a little bit different than LA County, as I'm sure you can imagine. And I think the footage that we got speaks for itself, but I think you'd be surprised, as your previous guest said, just how many conservatives and Americans live in California that want the laws to be enforced and want to be safe in their own backyard.
The sheriff in Orange County, she's publishing Who's in Jail. It's a list that's going to be online, a database where it will tell you at home which inmates are being released that day and what time they're going to be released. You actually hit the streets to ask people about this, Sheriff. Let's listen to this and then get your reaction.
Support the enforcement of law, and I want to see that happen. That's an important thing to our community.
It's a bad idea. I think being a sanctuary city, we're supposed to protect, each other, and we're supposed to build bridges. I believe in building bridges and not walls.
I think we should be paying our immigration officers to do probably more to go ahead and do their job a bit better.
Most Californians do not want California to be a lawless sanctuary state. They want to be protected. They want the laws enforced.
Well, if that's true, Tommy, if a majority of people in California don't want to be a sanctuary state, why is it a sanctuary state?
Well, you've got LA County, which is a major problem. There are a lot of areas here that, of course, believe in shielding illegal immigrants, but there are many Californians that do not believe in that. And now the battle that's going on, the sheriff's department in Orange County has it exactly right. They are protecting Americans first. That should be logic and reason. I hope other places follow suit. I think now they will be emboldened to do so. I think citizens are going to stand up. They're going to make their voices heard. I think they're going to go against all the labels and all the name calling, and they're going to make sure that their families are safe in California.
Do you feel safe living in that county? Because I remember when we interviewed Kate Steinley's family, they said they didn't even realize that they were living in a sanctuary area until their lives were affected.
Well, of course, I mean, that's the risk that you run living in California. And Brian, as you mentioned, we have a large problem here with many other things, including the homeless population, other issues in the state of California. So there are many things we have to tackle here. But I'll tell you that Californians, they're not all crazy. They don't all believe in lawlessness and illegal immigrants first. A lot of Californians here want to see Americans first, and we're going to do that in the next year. I am confident.
It'll change when Democrats agree with you, because it's got to be about being a citizen, not being a member of the party. The only thing growing there are tent sales. Every time I go, there are more and more tent cities sprouting up. It's an embarrassment. Congressman Debbie Wasserman Schultz thinks she has the answer, and it's about bullets. Listen.
You do not have the right to bear bullets. I really think it's important to underscore that without bullets, a gun is just a hunk of useless metal, and a would-be killer lacks the means to actually kill or maim.
Okay, so there you've got Debbie Wasserman Schultz. She's referring to the march last week across the country, and her suggestion is, of course, we heard from the former Justice of the Supreme Court repeal the Second Amendment yesterday. Her suggestion is have a background check to buy bullets.
I got a good idea for Debbie there. If a gun is just a hunk of useless metal without bullets, then wouldn't that same logic apply to a gun if there wasn't a psycho, lunatic, or a terrorist on the other end of that gun? She makes no sense. She's actually contradicting herself, and she's actually going along with what we're saying, that a gun is a tool. And furthermore, I wonder if Debbie realizes that people can make their own ammunition and bullets. I'm sure she's probably not aware of that. But imagine this, if you will. Imagine if the left, if Democrats wanted to regulate our borders even half as much as they want to regulate our guns. Americans would be a lot safer.
Right. Meanwhile, Sean Penn was up late last night on the late-night shows. He's still mourning the death of Hugo Chavez, a good friend of his. He has an idea of what should happen to the President of the United States.
I think we owe it to ourselves to get it back, and the only way we do that is show that we know how to stop fighting with each other,
right?
And really listen to each other, and really demand that our politicians do the job. And in this case, the job includes, by any historical parallel, the impeachment of this president.
Okay.
Okay, good. That's a good listen. Okay, is there another side to that? Did you want to weigh in on, Lori? Tommy?
Well, really, if he was listening to the American people, as he mentioned, if we were listening and speaking to each other, he would understand that President Trump won the election and the American people have spoken. So the fact that he wants to throw out there that we should just arbitrarily impeach Donald Trump, I'd like to hear his reasoning behind that. Again, he's been making his late-night talk show circuit, and the man doesn't even seem to make sense on most of these shows. I don't think I'll be taking my political advice from the likes of Sean Penn, especially when you look at who his role models are. I think that's a hard pass for me.
Generally, when you impeach somebody, you do need a reason.
Right. So that's a way to open up and bring people together.
Right. Tommy,
is it fantastic?
Tommy Lahren joining us today from the West Coast.
Right.
Tommy, thank you
Tommy.
very much for getting up so early.